So it is Tuesday, October 20th at the time of filming this video, and there's a few brand new Switch stories we got to talk about today, starting with a brand new indie Medroidvania game that caught my eye, and I want to share it with you all. Then we have a big update around Mario Kart Tour, and while we may not have seen Waluigi added in as a Smash character, he is getting decked out as a vampire in this update, and there's a lot of reason to talk about it. Then we have to cover a big reason why there is a ban on a major game that is on the Nintendo Switch, and you cannot find it in the eShop in major regions of the world. And the big talking point for today's video is the incredible start that the Nintendo Switch OLED is off to and what it means for the bigger picture for Nintendo. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. Now, as I mentioned, guys, we're covering quite a few different stories today, and I want to start it off with a indie game that caught my eye that is definitely claiming to be a classic Metroidvania style game, and this is one by the name of Soldiers, and it will release on both the Switch and the PC in spring of 2022. So for all of you Metroid and Castlevania fans out there that may be wrapping up their playthroughs of Metroid Dread, or maybe you got Castlevania Advance Collection and you're finishing up with those games and you want a brand new adventure to embark on, this one actually looks very promising. It does have multiple gameplay and combat styles, as you can choose between a sword fighter, an archer, or a mage, and the classic map layout and exploration looks in line with your classic what you would expect from a Metroidvania style title. And then the other thing that stuck out to me about this game is that beautiful look of the classic 2D pixel style art, but merged in with brand new lighting effects and all of the nice perks and upgrades that we see on more modern games. So this one looks promising. Obviously, we won't know exactly how it plays until we get some kind of demo or hands-on gameplay footage, but from the trailer overall, it definitely looks like there's going to be a lot of fast-paced action. The boss fights look interesting, and as I mentioned, it's just one of those trailers that popped up that's brand new as a exclusive release from IGN today that actually really caught my attention, and I wanted to share it with you guys for all of those out there that enjoy these style of games. And bonus question, I want to hear from you guys in the comments, not only if you're interested in this game Soldiers like I am, but also how your experience is with Metroid Dread so far, and if you've completed it, and then have you picked up Castlevania Advance Collection, because that's actually next on my list right after Metroid Dread to play through all the way. So I do look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments down below around your thoughts on Soldiers and your experience so far with Metroid Dread and Castlevania Advance Collection. Now, next up, I want to share a really fun story with you guys, because if you've been around on the channel here for a while, you will know that while I am very happy that Sora was the final Smash DLC character, and I actually think he's the perfect send-off for the series, I was pulling personally for Waluigi to be featured as the final Smash character, just because Waluigi has always gotten overlooked, and I would have loved to see him added into that roster. But he is in the news and headlines today, and it's even got Mario Kart Tour trending, because Mario Kart Tour did receive a Halloween update today that went live, and of course Waluigi is front and center with a vampire style costume. There is also all types of other costumes that have been added in, but watching this trailer and seeing it unfold, I was like, man, it sucks that Nintendo is continuing to update Mario Kart Tour but not giving us any extra Mario Kart 8 Deluxe content. It's like, if they're not going to give us Mario Kart 9 or Double Dash 2, which also you guys will know if you've been around on the channel that I'm patiently, and maybe not so patiently, waiting for one of those games to come out, whatever the future of the series is, I would at least love some new content. And we did a while back have a data mine that came out from Mario Kart Tour itself that showed a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe folder in that data mine, which suggested that maybe Nintendo is planning some kind of crosstalk between Mario Kart Tour and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And there was even a lot of rumors leading into the September Nintendo Direct that we may see something like that revealed. Well, obviously that came and went, and we have not seen any kind of reveal for a integration of Mario Kart Tour, but this update, it just does another good job of showing off how fun this gameplay looks on Mario Kart Tour, and it makes me wish we had some of these tracks maybe brought over to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Definitely the costumes, like if they wanted to just give us a free update, or maybe do another small DLC pack where we could get some of this Mario Kart Tour content in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I think that would be fantastic. But I do want to hear from you guys on this if you actually play Mario Kart Tour, because obviously it's a mobile game that can only be played on both Android and iOS devices, so you cannot play this on on the Switch, and maybe Nintendo could even just release this on the eShop as a free download on the Switch or charge $4.99 for it. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to that. However I can get new Mario Kart content, I will take it. But I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. If you are a fan of Mario Kart Tour, what's your experience been playing with it so far? Because, you know, for me, it's unfortunately just because of mainly the touch style controls, it is not enticing to me to play this on my phone. But when I'm out and about waiting in line somewhere, I do sometimes boot it up because I do have it downloaded, and I will at least check out this Waluigi vampire costume in action. But I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below what you think of this update and what you hope that we see Nintendo do with the future of Mario Kart, because obviously we've been waiting a long time for any kind of update to come to this series. So make sure you share all your thoughts and feelings in all things Mario Kart related in the comments down below. Now, the next story I want to share with you guys today is actually a pretty controversial one, just for the simple fact that there is a major Nintendo Switch game that just launched and you cannot download it from the Nintendo eShop in major regions of the world. And we're talking UK and Australia. And then specifically, this issue apparently roots from Germany, as that is where the eShop Nintendo store for that region is based out of, or at least it's registered that way. And I want to start off this conversation with reading through the Nintendo Life article that does a good job of breaking down the reason why Dying Light Platinum Edition may not be available to a large portion of the world, and hopefully we get a resolution soon. But for the time being, your only option is to go try to find this thing physically. So let's start off the conversation by reading through the article together. Can't find Dying Light on the Switch eShop? It might be because it's currently banned in Germany. As you might have heard, Dying Light Platinum Edition has arrived on the Nintendo Switch, and it's being described by folks over at Digital Foundry as another intelligently designed port for the hybrid system. If you happen to be located in the UK, across Europe, or even Australia and New Zealand, though, you might not actually be able to purchase it. Yep, if you are in any of those regions, the digital version of the game isn't actually available on the Switch eShop right now. Why? Because it's been banned for sale in Germany, as explained by an official Techland spokesperson over on Reddit via Eurogamer. It's all tied to the fact that Nintendo's Europe eShop, which Australia and New Zealand are both linked with, is registered in Germany, and this particular country, Dying Light, is unrated and not available for sale. The team at Techland is currently working with its partner and local authorities to lift the ban as soon as possible. They're quoted here saying, "If you're talking about the digital version, then due to the nature of the content, the digital version of the game is currently banned in Germany, where the European eShop is officially registered. This is making it impossible to officially distribute the game in European countries and also in Australia and New Zealand. We are currently working with our partner and local authorities to remove the ban as soon as we can. In the meantime, you can go with a physical copy of the game instead if you happen to be located in any of these regions, except Germany, of course. The game is available digitally in the US and Asia, and the retail version is available worldwide except Germany." So this is definitely a disappointing news story if you are somebody who is a fan of Dying Light and you are in those regions and you were planning on picking up the Platinum Edition at release digitally, because obviously not everybody is a physical collector nowadays, and we are seeing more and more of a shift to digital sales of games, and you cannot pick this up currently in the eShop. Hopefully they get it resolved soon, but it is one of those things that's a pretty big oversight. Like, I'm surprised that this ban has happened right at the game's launch and there wasn't like some kind of forward planning for that, because these are major regions of the world. We're not talking about one small little unpopulated area. Like, we are talking about a major portion of the globe that cannot download this game digitally, and that's definitely how a lot of consumers now buy their Switch games. And then to also piggyback off of that article a little bit, Digital Foundry is saying that this game is looking and running amazing, and you can see some trailers and gameplay footage now out there online, and it does seem like for what the Switch we typically see as far as ports and native ports specifically come to the Switch from these games that are actually graphically intensive, sometimes we see developers drop the ball and not put in all of the work that's necessary. And from the sounds of it so far, that has not happened with Dying Light Platinum Edition, which is very reassuring to see. We obviously have Dying Light 2 to look forward to as well, which will be a cloud version of the game, so it will not be native, and there may be lag and latency issues as we typically see with cloud versions of the game. But if you're somebody who's trying to get into the series and you're in that region of the world right now and you normally buy your games digitally, I want to hear from you on how this has affected you, and if you're going to wait it out to actually see if there may be a quick fix on the ban, or if it's something that you'll just go pick it up physically instead. So I would love to hear from the Dying Light fans out there, as well as I have not personally played through the series whatsoever or any of the installments, and I would love to hear your thoughts and impressions on the gameplay and if you were planning on picking this up at release on the Nintendo Switch. Now, the last story I want to share with you guys today, and the big talking point around today's video, is the incredible sales start that the Switch OLED model is off to around the world, as we are now starting to get first week sales number estimates coming through, and there's some exciting data to report upon here, and it's very interesting when you think about the online reaction to when Nintendo actually unveiled the OLED model. And while it wasn't anything near as negative as what we're seeing with Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass pricing, it was still a harsh reaction from fans that this is not worth a $350 price point, considering that we're getting no kind of performance boost and we're only really getting that upgraded screen, better kickstand, and your enhanced audio. But outside of that, it left a lot to be desired in a revision for such a popular console like the Nintendo Switch. And while that may have been a very loud minority of people, there are still a ton of folks that are going out there and picking this console up, and it is getting increasingly hard to find. If you did not find one on the Wave 1 pre-order stock or just day one stock on various different retailers. So I want to start off by hopping over to VG charts, where they do have the exact sales data, or at least an estimate as they claim on the sales data on how the Switch OLED model has been doing so far around the world globally, and what that could mean for Nintendo's bigger plans when we talk about revisions or even next gen successors to the Switch going forward. Switch OLED boosts Switch sales over 860,000 worldwide hardware estimates for October 3rd through the 9th sales. The Nintendo Switch was the best-selling console with 861,000 units sold for the week ending October 9th, according to VG Charts estimates. Switch sales more than tripled due to the worldwide launch of the Switch OLED model. The Switch has now sold an estimated 92.45 million units lifetime. To compare, the Nintendo Switch Lite boosted Switch sales to just under 600,000 units in its opening week. The PlayStation 5 sold an estimated 254,000 units to bring its lifetime sales to 12.73 million units. The Xbox Series X and S sold 164,000 units to bring its lifetime sales to 7.78 million units. The PlayStation 4 sold an estimated 28,000 units, and the Xbox One sold 11,000 units, and the Nintendo 3DS sold 362 units. So not much love for the 3DS anymore. Nintendo Switch sales compared to the same week last year are up 330,000 units, or 62%. The PlayStation 4 is down 54,000, or 65%. The Xbox One is down 20,000 units, or 63%, and the 3DS is down 3,000 units, which is down 91%. Looking at the sales week on week, the Nintendo Switch sales are up by a massive 610,000 units, the PlayStation 5 sales are up by over 14,000 units, while the Xbox Series X and S sales are up over 9,000 units. So this story was really interesting to me whenever you take into account the initial fan reaction around the Switch OLED being unveiled, and then we see these sales that essentially tripled the Switch's baseline numbers that they typically expect during this time window. And the other thing to keep in mind is we're not even in the holiday season yet, so we are definitely seeing a lot of fans change their mind, or maybe they just actually saw the Switch OLED hands-on and realized how big of an upgrade it actually is, because that's definitely what happened to me. As initially I went ahead and pre-ordered it as soon as it was available, but I wasn't really that hyped to actually get my hands on it, just for the simple fact that I primarily play in docked mode, and my theory was that hopefully by getting the OLED model I would start to play it in handheld mode more often, which is indeed happening. And I can say also, as somebody who's had the base model version 1 Switch, not even the better battery life upgrade, like I've just had the launch day Switch this entire time, it felt very good to actually get a new version of this console. And while I wish it had better horsepower, I am now finding myself actually going out to the living room, not being near, maybe the traditional gaming setup like in my room here, and I'll just carry the Switch OLED with me handheld and play some games out there for a while. Or I've had a few different times where I've been out and about and I throw it in my backpack before I leave. So it is definitely working with me as far as the enjoyment of the OLED display, with how bright and vibrant the colors look, and just that difference of 6.2 to 7 inches. When you actually have your hands on this OLED model, you do notice how nice it is for that screen to be fully filled up and not have any bezel that cuts down on the amount of screen that you see in your game. So I personally do think that the OLED is a worthwhile upgrade. I would even be curious if you guys are going to, maybe potentially look at upgrading your Switch, because I've seen some people in the comments say that, they couldn't justify spending a whole nother $350, but they went to GameStop and traded in their Switch and got a decent price on it and did it that way, and actually had an upgrade path to this one. And if you're someone who's on the fence but doesn't want to spend the whole $350, that's probably what I I would recommend you to do, especially if you actually can get your hands on in a demo and you are as impressed as I am in handheld mode, because it just ultimately means that I'm going to play my Switch in more places, which is what I ultimately want to do. So this is reassuring news for Nintendo. It'll definitely look good in their investor meetings when they're talking about official final numbers. And you know, they're definitely making more profit with this model, as they did go up $50 in price point, and you could argue that the components are probably not quite expensive enough to really justify that price increase on its own. And you have to keep in mind that they're still selling a base model Switch at $300 US, which, you know, has not seen a price cut this entire time over here. And you definitely have to realize that these components have fallen in price. So Nintendo's definitely making profit on this thing. I will be interested to see how this leads into future revisions, because, you know, if you've been around on the channel, you may have seen recently we reported on a big leak that suggests that there is a digital only Switch in development right now, and we don't know what that is. It could be a Switch Lite, it could be the next version of the Switch, like the next gen Switch, and maybe they do the two model deal like Sony did this generation, where they have a physical version that can play cartridges, and they have a digital only version where you can truly only download your games off the eShop. But I do think with Nintendo releasing this revision and having this kind of momentum, even without a performance upgrade, they may end up trying to do either more frequent small revisions as we go along, or they may try to give us that next gen Switch and make it backwards compatible with the current Switch. And then, you know, we could be talking about a Switch 2 as soon as 2022, or at least by maybe 2023, as we are getting further and further into the Switch's life cycle. So I really want to hear from you guys at this point in the video in all of the stories that we talked about, and definitely share your thoughts and opinions on all things Switch OLED and how you feel about it, if you've actually gotten your hands on one and can see it in person. And do you agree with me that you think it's as big of an upgrade as I do in handheld mode, or do you think it's still Nintendo being kind of greedy and reaching too much at the $350 price point, and it's not worth upgrading to you? So I do look forward to hearing all your guys' thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comments down below before you leave the video. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you all one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on your way out if you enjoyed it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.